What a brilliant success story the Mini has turned out to be. Now, obviously, we're not referring to the skirt, but we are dealing with a 60s phenomenon that's turned just as many heads and proved equally fashionable and durable.
Oh, well, come on, everybody, let's get together tonight.
Yes, of course, we're celebrating the car. Millions of them, in fact. Come to think of it, what does one call a fleet of Minis all gathered together to celebrate 30 years of success and achievement? Let's see. How about a pride of Minis? And as a former Mini owner myself, with many happy motoring memories from the 60s, I know how much pleasure the car can give, and how for many owners it becomes a whole new means of expression. Well, today, Mini owners and addicts from miles around have converged on the village of Packingtown, near Bath, where villagers are holding their annual summer fete.
In the summertime, when the weather is high, you can stretch right up and touch the sky. When the weather is fine, you got women on your mind.
But this year, it's a fete with a difference, because as an added attraction, the Fete Committee has invited the local Mini Cooper Register to join the festivities by celebrating 30 years of Mini motoring. And what a day it turned out to be. All the fun of the fair was there, with sideshows, games, stalls, many other fundraising activities as well, with all proceeds going towards local charities. And as you'd expect from a typically English summer fete, we were treated to some pretty changeable weather too, with varied spells of cloud, sunshine and rain. But on the whole, spirits refused to be dampened, and the occasion clearly had something for everyone. Most of all, however, the day belonged to the cars and to their owners, many of whom had lovingly and painstakingly restored their cherished models to their former glory, and were awaiting the outcome of the concours d'élégance, the main award of the afternoon, to be announced later once the judges had had an opportunity to scrutinize the entries on parade.
That's where I did the arches. I wish in a way I'd brought that round and down there. It would have been an awful lot better. I'm glad I took the pictures and I put them on there, because there's a lot of people come along and they see the car and they've no idea what work's gone in on it. You know?
And as the cars arrived one by one, hoping no doubt for their moment of glory, so indeed did the main judge of the event, a man who'd played such an important role in shaping the Mini's destiny, Dr. Alex Moulton, who designed its revolutionary new suspension all those years ago, and who'd worked alongside Sir Alec Isigonis, the instigator, creator and mastermind behind the Mini, who despite great opposition had finally seen his dream machine come to fruition by 1959. So clearly Dr. Moulton knew a thing or two about the history and maintenance of the car and was going to be a hard man to impress.
How much non-standard? They haven't got interest. They haven't put up...
No soundproofing.
No, but they're very much here.
Yeah, soundproofing on the forecourt, yeah. And they've got servo now as well.
Yes, of course, on the Mini Cooper, they had servo forever, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly have got mine on my old one.
And once he'd had a chance to survey the assorted range of Minis on parade, and believe me, we'll be coming face to face with one or two interesting variations on the Mini, I asked him what his original role had been.
The team effort, led entirely by that remarkable man, Alec Isigonis, a good friend of mine. We worked together on all the various problems under his direction and his inspiration, but my concern, especially, was that of suspension. And you can see this splendid cutaway model, which brings it back very much to me, the original show day, because when, in 1959, when we decided to cut the thing in half as a good show, we had an apple on the parcel shelf, also cut in half, and we had every day, of course, on the stand it had to be renewed, otherwise it's gone bad. It suddenly reminds me. But the basic feature, and it's beautifully exposed in this cutaway, is the totally revolutionary concept of Isigonis of the standard engine, in fact an A35 engine, mounted transversely.
Tell us about your contribution.
Right, my concern was in the suspension, of which in this car was our original concept, which came only later in the Mini, and it came throughout the later range, but hydraulically interconnected which you see the fluid pipe there, and if you see down there, the interconnection down the side of the car of the fluid to the hydroelastic unit, or later days hydrogas units, at the rear wheel. And it was this interconnection which gave the extreme road holding, and it was nice to be reminded that in seeing that lovely Mini Cooper 966 competition one, that all the rallies were won on the Mini Cooper S with the interconnected system.
You had an earlier system of rubber cones.
Yes, it was an interim system, because by the time, under the great pressure of getting the car ready for 959, our hydroelastic system was not ready. And so I fitted one that I had already designed, which is a little cone spring, quite a subtle little thing, not fluid at all, rubber in compression and in shear. And that system was used originally, then was used subsequently because it was I think perhaps a false economy. It was an economy move in, I think, late 60s. And to this day, the rubber cone spring is used. But the interconnected principle in hydrogas form will find its way in later cars, not necessarily many. So the principle there, enshrined, if you like, will appear again.
So, with Dr. Moulton present, the occasion had a direct link with those very first models produced over 30 years earlier. And every enthusiast who'd taken the time to tinker and polish, to restore and refurbish, to tune and to fine-tune, knew that only the highest standards would be enough to carry off that first prize in the concours d'elegance. So, let's meet one such hopeful, rally driver, Dave Gilbert. This is a rally car. Tell us about the history of this car.
Well, basically, it's an ex-BMC Works rally car that the BMC factory used with great success during the mid-60s.
And you've in fact driven this in a rally or two yourself, haven't you?
That's right, yeah. We managed to finish the car in 1979. We took it to the British Leyland Mini Extravaganza, and there were 1,000 entries, and it got the concours prize.
Fantastic.
Best of all. And the judge was Paddy Hopkirk and John Cooper himself.
So you're an enthusiast, you've restored the car, you've driven it in a few competitive races. How much do you think the car is worth now?
That's a very good question, isn't it? Yes. How long's a piece of string? There's a similar works car has been sold recently at Coy's in Kensington, and that fetched around about £50,000.
Restoring a car is all very well, but you won't get very far without the necessary parts, which especially for some of the earlier models may prove hard to come by. Someone who's prepared to go to great lengths, devoting much time and energy to his restoration business, is Mike Fete.
Time-consuming evenings, weekends, just sat there really working very hard just to bring the cars back to original.
What's the worst state that you found a car in?
Completely in pieces, all in boxes, all the wings off, no subframes, the engine in pieces, all in boxes, and